In a ruined Colombia after the world ended, two young tribe members named Savon and Caleb ventured deep into the forest, desperately searching for food. Their people were starving. They belonged to a small tribe led by Yuri, who happened to be Savon's father. Yuri appeared suddenly, scolding his son harshly for entering the dangerous, forbidden territory, risking his life foolishly. Savon, however, stood his ground. He argued passionately that he had already proven himself the tribe's best hunter and vowed he would bring back the food they so badly needed. He believed he was ready for more responsibility. Yuri, seeing his son's determination, decided to test the young man's claim. He allowed Savon to lead the hunting party. Everyone grabbed their weapons, spears and clubs, and set off under Savon's command. As they moved cautiously through the dense trees, they encountered Caleb, a young tracker often dismissed by the stronger warriors for lacking their fighting skill. Caleb nervously reported finding prey just a short distance ahead. Yuri immediately cautioned him, pointing out that the location was deep within the forbidden zone, strictly outside the tribe's safe boundaries. Ignoring the leader's warning, Caleb insisted they go. Fearing Caleb would get hurt acting alone, Yuri reluctantly ordered the group to follow the tracker. After pushing through thick undergrowth for a few meters, Caleb finally spotted the creature. Savon, eager to lead, quickly took charge. He and the other warriors launched their attack. To their shock, they found themselves facing a terrifying prehistoric beast, enormous like a bear, somehow resurrected in this ruined world. The monstrous creature lunged with deadly fangs. The warriors fought back bravely, using spears tied with ropes, trying desperately to trap it against the massive tree trunks. But the beast possessed terrifying strength, far beyond their expectations. It threw the warriors aside violently. Caleb was hurled high into the trees and vanished. Seeing an opening, Caleb seized the trailing rope, pulling with all his might to hold the beast. This gave Savon the crucial moment he needed. He charged forward and drove his spear deep into the creature's neck. Finally, another warrior leapt onto the beast's back, stabbing repeatedly with his blade. Savon delivered the final, killing blow. Afterwards, the tribe celebrated their hard-won victory, hailing Savon as a true hero. Yuri, however, also made a point to congratulate Caleb, acknowledging it was his tracking skill that found the fearsome animal. The celebration was brutally cut short. Caleb reappeared, his arm horribly mangled, clearly bitten. His skin rapidly turned deathly pale, and his teeth grew unnaturally sharp. The group realized with horror that he was infected by the mutant disease. Before the mutation fully consumed him, Caleb begged Savon, his friend, to end his life. Savon hesitated, overcome with grief. Finally, as Caleb transformed and lunged to attack Savon, another warrior stepped in protectively, thrusting his spear through the mutant Caleb, killing him. Devastated by this terrible loss, the group silently carried Caleb's body back towards their home, unaware that a mysterious figure, an archer, watched them intently from the shadows high above. Shortly after, they reached their settlement, built within a rocky area known as Grey Rock. There, Savon reunited with Doral, his betrothed, who was overjoyed to see her future husband safe. But Savon remained deeply shaken, haunted by Caleb's death. Caleb also returned, joining the others. He watched Savon and Doral together with hidden sadness, concealing his own secret feelings for Doral. Only his younger sister, Meru, knew this secret. She rushed to him, immensely relieved her brother was unharmed. Caleb, however, felt crushing guilt over Caleb's fate. It was he who had crossed the forbidden boundary against Yuri's direct orders. While Caleb and Meru talked quietly, Yuri went to consult the tribe elders. He told them about Caleb's infection and death. Yuri strongly believed the tribe must leave Grey Rock immediately and seek a new home far away. The elders refused outright. They argued the entire world outside their forest was surely overrun by mutants. Though the full history was lost, they knew that long ago humanity had foolishly created a dangerous pathogen. This pathogen turned people into mutants. It had nearly destroyed the human race. The elders were convinced their small tribe was the very last human group left on the whole planet. Because of this, they dared not risk venturing beyond the known forest areas, terrified only terrible creatures awaited them. Caleb disagreed passionately. He argued they must search for other survivors, just as his own father, Jared, had tried to do years before. The elders dismissed this as pure madness. Jared had left years ago and never returned. Despite their words and Meru's fearful pleas not to leave her, Caleb remained determined to find other tribes. Early the next morning, while Meru slept, Caleb quietly gathered water and supplies for his journey. Just as he was about to slip away, he saw a large group of mutants charging directly towards the village. Minutes later, Savon, on lookout duty, saw one of the guards desperately fighting an infected creature. It was too late. The village was suddenly overrun. The mutants, resembling zombies but possessing terrifying superhuman strength and aggression, attacked everything. Savon, Yuri, and the other warriors fought fiercely with their spears, but the mutants surrounded the entire settlement. The tribe was forced to retreat into the safety of a large cave nearby. During the frantic battle, Caleb was attacked by a mutant. Yuri saved Caleb's life, killing the creature. Tragically, Yuri was then tackled by the leader of the mutant pack, who bit deep into his neck, transmitting the deadly pathogen. Savon watched helplessly as his father was infected. As the new leader, he ordered everyone into the cave immediately. Meru was pulled inside. Caleb tried to follow, but more mutants blocked his path. Seeing they couldn't wait any longer, the elders ordered the cave entrance sealed with heavy rocks. Trapped outside, Caleb and a few others fought desperately to escape the mutants. Dora was among them, being chased by one infected creature. Seeing her in mortal danger, Caleb rushed forward. He grabbed a hammer and smashed it into the mutant's skull, saving her. Before Dora could thank him, Savon appeared, embracing her tightly, relieved she was safe. Caleb was forced once again to witness their closeness. There was no time for anything else. Caleb managed to slip into a smaller opening in the cave to find Meru. The three, Savon, Doral, and Caleb, watched from a hidden vantage point. They saw the cave entrance completely surrounded by mutants, waiting menacingly. Savon tried to devise a plan to fight them, but Caleb suggested they head for the distant mountains to seek help from other tribes. Like the elders, Savon was deeply skeptical any other survivors existed. Caleb started to leave alone. Doral convinced Savon they should go with Caleb. Savon reluctantly agreed. The three set off through the forest, Caleb using his tracking skills to find any sign of other people. During the journey, Doral noticed a strange object tucked into Caleb's clothes, something unfamiliar. Caleb showed her a book, a precious gift from his father, Jared, who had also taught him to read when he was a boy. The mutant pathogen outbreak had shattered the world, severing humanity's connection to knowledge and technology. Reading had become a forgotten skill. Apart from Jared, Caleb was the only person left in the whole tribe who could read. Savon dismissed the book as useless, a waste of time. Before an argument could flare, another mutant lunged from the trees. To their utter shock, the infected figure was Yuri. Seeing his father, Savon froze, refusing to fight. Yuri knocked Savon to the ground and prepared to bite him. Caleb rushed forward to save Savon just in time. Miraculously, the infected Yuri was killed by a hatchet thrown with deadly accuracy. The thrower was the same mysterious archer who had watched them earlier. He introduced himself as Amal, a skilled warrior who had met Caleb's father during his travels. Amal explained he had promised Jared he would protect Caleb, but now he needed Caleb's help. He urged the group to follow him to his home. On the way, Amal revealed critical information. The mutant infection could spread through simple contact with infected blood or saliva. The bite just accelerated the transformation. It was likely all three of them were already infected and desperately needed a cure made from a special yellow powder. Hours later, they reached Amal's hidden shelter, meeting his wary wife, Nina, and their young son, Persk. Nina was alarmed to see possibly infected strangers, but Amal calmed her, insisting that with Caleb's ability to read ancient knowledge, they could create more cure and save everyone. Despite her fear, Nina agreed and offered them food. Over the meal, Amal shared more details. He explained that Jared had discovered the knowledge to create the cure, a mixture of rare plants and fungi. Once Jared had made it, he planned to return to his tribe, but he was ambushed, robbed, and killed by a man named Gagen. Now the only hope for recreating the cure rested with Caleb. He alone could read the old books and decipher the yellow powder's formula. Though overwhelmed, Caleb accepted this immense responsibility. The next day, Amal guided the trio downriver in his boat. Meanwhile, back in the sealed cave, the elders insisted everyone must wait silently until the mutants left. Meru, however, couldn't just wait. With two warriors, Evan and Remy, she searched the cave depths for another escape route. They discovered a possible way out through a deep, water-filled well. Despite the danger, Meru bravely plunged into the cold water and swam through the dark tunnel, searching for an exit. Back on the river, Amal steered the boat towards an island inhabited by warriors of his order, the Brotherhood. He explained that after Gagen murdered Jared and stole the cure, he seized control of another island, ruling it harshly. Amal and other warriors had formed the Brotherhood to recreate the cure and confront Gagen. Amal hoped for their help. He headed towards a lighthouse on the Brotherhood Island to signal his comrades. Meanwhile, Meru, Evan, and Remy surfaced on the other side of the well, finding a steep climb to the surface. Before they could start climbing, Evan suffered a sudden violent nosebleed, a clear sign he was infected. Despite this, Meru urged them all to climb out quickly. As they began their ascent, they saw mutants watching them from the cave entrance across the well. Meru yelled for them to retreat. In the scramble, all three slipped. Evan fell hard, breaking his leg. The mutants advanced rapidly. In a final act of courage, Evan stayed behind, sacrificing himself to delay the mutants while Meru and Remy escaped back down the well. Back at the Brotherhood Island, Amal lit the lighthouse beacon. Its bright light, meant to summon allies, also attracted a large group of mutants. Amal ordered the trio to flee immediately. He fought fiercely with his bow and arrows but fell into a deep crack in the ground. Caleb rushed to help him, but Savon yelled for them to run to the boat before they transformed. Caleb refused to abandon Amal. He saw the infected swarming into the crevice where Amal fought desperately. Caleb prepared to jump down, but Doral suddenly cried out in pain, clutching her head as blood trickled from her nose. This confirmed their worst fear. All three were infected and needed Gagen's cure urgently. Far away in the cave, Meru and Remy returned to the main chamber only to discover the elders and other survivors had succumbed to the infection while trapped inside. With the entrance sealed and mutants outside, the remaining survivors could only await a grim fate. Meru clung to hope that Caleb would return to save them. Meanwhile, warriors of the Brotherhood saw the beacon's signal and raced to the lighthouse. They found Amal wounded but alive. He had managed to kill the mutants in the crevice. Amal pleaded with his comrades to help Caleb, Savon, and Doral. The warriors feared Gagen's powerful army, but Amal insisted these three young people were the world's last hope for recreating the cure. While Amal sought help, the trio reached Gagen's island, finding a crumbling city. Entering cautiously, they witnessed a vendor being brutally beaten by guards, accused of stealing. After the punishment, the terrified vendor ran off. Caleb and his companions approached him, revealing they sought Gagen and the yellow powder cure. Seeing their infected state, the vendor panicked and fled. Savon chased him but lost sight of him. Returning, Savon saw Caleb and Doral captured by Gagen's guards. The two were dragged before Gagen and his daughter, Giselle. Gagen coldly ordered his soldiers to throw the infected intruders off the island immediately. Caleb boldly accused Gagen of murdering his father to steal the yellow powder. He insisted he didn't seek revenge, only the cure to save everyone. Gagen scoffed. To prove his value, Caleb grabbed a book from the floor and fluently read aloud a biography of Abraham Lincoln, a long-dead leader. Like Jared, Caleb could read. He could decipher the formula for the yellow powder. In exchange, Caleb demanded some cure for Doral, Savon, and their tribe. Gagen refused. He didn't believe Caleb could replicate the powder in time, and his precious reserves were saved only for his own chosen people, for future generations. He wouldn't share. Giselle visibly disapproved of her father's selfishness. She pleaded with him to at least give Doral the cure while Caleb worked. The tyrant ordered soldiers to take Caleb to the library but forbade giving any cure to Doral or the others. After they were taken away, Giselle began to seriously question her father, suspecting Caleb's accusation was true. Suddenly, Savon appeared beside her. He had climbed the building. He told Giselle he needed her help to get the yellow powder to save his friends. Torn but moved, Giselle agreed to show him where the cure was kept. Minutes later, they found a heavy safe. The door was locked and only Gagen had the key. Savon noticed thick dust on the safe, untouched for ages. He suspected Gagen kept the cure elsewhere. Meanwhile, Caleb was taken to the city's vast library. He found a table covered in notes. Recognizing his father's handwriting, he knew he could find the formula, but it would take weeks of careful study. Unfortunately, the guard grew suspicious, believing Caleb was stalling. Caleb had to work faster but time was running out. Back in the cave, time was running out faster. One elder worsened rapidly. He begged a warrior to end his suffering. The warrior refused. Seeing his agony, Meru, with a heavy heart, took a spear and ended his life mercifully. In the library, Caleb frantically searched Jared's notes. But his illness worsened. He collapsed, too weak to stand. Gagen appeared, mocking him, saying his efforts were pointless. Caleb suddenly understood. Gagen never intended to recreate the cure. If the infection ended, he would lose his control over the terrified people on the island. Just then, Giselle rushed in, warning her father that someone was trying to break into the safe. Gagen hurried out, but instead of going to the safe, he went straight to a small hidden compartment in the bookshelf, pulling out a glass vial. This revealed the true hiding place of the yellow powder. Savon, who had been watching, launched a surprise attack, knocking Gagen down. He raised his weapon to finish the tyrant. Giselle begged Savon to spare her father. In return, she offered him some of the precious yellow powder from the vial to cure himself. Savon demanded she take him to Doral immediately. She was near death. Seeing Savon, a guard attacked. Savon fought back fiercely, knocking the guard out. He rushed the powder to Doral, saving her life just in time. Savon then prepared to leave the island, but they needed to rescue Caleb first. Giselle handed Savon the vial with the remaining powder, pleading with him and Doral to save Caleb. Only he could make more cure and save humanity. The couple raced to the library, finding Caleb moments from fully transforming into a mutant. They tried to make him inhale the powder, but he couldn't breathe it in. Savon punched Caleb hard in the stomach, forcing him to gasp. He inhaled the powder. Caleb regained consciousness but was terribly weak. Savon and Doral hurriedly carried him towards the harbor, desperate to reach their boat. Gagen's guards spotted them. Crossbows were raised, arrows flew. Seeing escape was impossible while carrying Caleb, Savon ordered Doral to take Caleb and run for the boat while he distracted the soldiers. Doral refused but was forced to go. As soon as Caleb could stumble, they ran. Reaching the harbor, they found the boat. While they waited anxiously for Savon, he created a diversion by throwing a large branch to make noise in the opposite direction. The soldiers went to investigate the sound. Savon used this chance to run for the boat but was intercepted by Gagen's general. The two men fought savagely. The general swung his blade, but Savon dodged and countered with powerful punches and a brutal headbutt. With the general down, Savon grabbed the man's weapon and sprinted to the boat. The three rowed with all their strength away from the island. More trouble arose as a strong tide began pulling the boat backwards. Their only hope was to reach the Brotherhood Island and then find their way back to the tribe. Caleb, though weak, guided them using his tracking skills. Reaching the coast near the mountains, they found a way forward. A precarious bridge made of huge, ancient cables spanning a deep gorge. They began crossing carefully. Suddenly, Caleb cried out, an arrow piercing his leg. Gagen stood on the far side, ordering his soldiers to capture the intruders and retrieve the powder. Despite his wound, Caleb managed to haul himself across. With soldiers charging onto the bridge behind them, Savon decided to stay and hold them off while Doral and Caleb escaped to find the tribe. Doral didn't want to leave him again. Savon pushed her towards Caleb, then rushed back onto the bridge. He swung his axe furiously, chopping at the main supporting cable. Seeing the bridge weakening, soldiers tried to retreat. Gagen aimed his crossbow and fired, hitting Savon cleanly. Even wounded, Savon kept chopping. He severed the cable. The bridge collapsed violently. Savon was hit by another arrow as he fell into the chasm, taking Gagen's soldiers with him. Doral screamed, weeping for Savon. Honoring his last wish, she helped Caleb hurry towards their tribe. As they struggled through the forest, they miraculously encountered Amal and the warriors of the Brotherhood, who had been searching for them. Relieved to find them alive, the warriors helped them back towards Grey Rock. Hours later, they found the cave entrance still surrounded by mutants. The Brotherhood warriors, skilled archers, easily cut down the infected creatures. Doral rushed straight into the cave opening. Caleb stayed outside briefly to fight mutants trying to break in. Inside, Doral found Meru moments from transforming. She forced the yellow powder into Meru's mouth, saving her life and the lives of the other remaining survivors. Amal and the Brotherhood warriors swiftly eliminated the last mutants outside. The tribe was finally safe. But from the shadows, Gagen emerged, furious. He demanded the yellow powder back, aiming his crossbow directly at Caleb. Enraged by the loss of his cure and power, he fired. Amal leapt in front of Caleb, taking the arrow in his shoulder. Fueled by fury, Caleb grabbed Amal's fallen axe and hurled it with all his strength. It struck Gagen, killing him instantly. With the villain defeated and everyone cured, Caleb rushed to Meru. He then helped Amal, who was wounded but alive. The arrow had missed anything vital. In the following days, Caleb began teaching his knowledge. With Meru's help, he taught everyone in the tribe to read, opening the world of knowledge. However, Caleb knew replicating the yellow powder fully required the specific books on Gagen's island. He needed to return there. Caleb said goodbye to Amal, Doral, and Meru, setting out once more. He arrived to find the island now under Giselle's control. She welcomed him warmly, rejecting her father's cruel ways. She vowed to turn the island into a haven of peace where the cure would be shared freely, offering hope for rebuilding humanity. So, what did you think of this story? Leave it in the comments below. And if you liked the video, like and subscribe for more movie recaps. See you next time.